I want to get you to define what you mean by a biological clock. Let's say from a more scientific standpoint.
Sure.
What exactly are you referring to when you study the biological clock?
It's a really important point. And essentially, you can define a circadian rhythm, a 24-hour biological clock, but the fact that it will persist under constant conditions. So if you or I went to a deep, dark cave, constant light, constant temperature, we'd still show near 24-hour rhythms. They wouldn't be exactly 24 hours. In most of us, they're a little bit longer. But the persistence of a 24-hour rhythm without any time cues, like light or dark or changes in temperature, that's a key point. The second is that this endogenous internal clock can be aligned to the external world. And the primary way that happens in most animals, most life in fact, is exposure to the light-dark cycle, the dawn-dusk cycle. So it persists under constant conditions. It can be entrained by a time giver from the environment. And the third extraordinary point is that it's temperature compensated. And what I mean by that is that biological reactions speed up or slow down depending upon what the external temperature is. Now, if you have a clock and it changes its oscillation, its period, with temperature, it's not a clock. It can't work. And so that's the third, really extraordinary feature. And in fact, it is amazing that clocks, biological clocks, are indeed temperature compensated. We don't fully understand how, but they are. And so those are the three factors.
That's fantastic in terms of just defining exactly what we're talking about. So when you say biological clock and just how important this is to our functioning and every aspect of our functioning, it leads me to wonder, just as a layperson, where is this magical biological clock located within me? Because I feel like, the sun rises and then I wake up in response and then I go about my day. It's dark and I go to sleep again.
Yeah.
But you're implying that it's deeply embedded in us.
Oh, it is. It's I think in the book I call it our deep biology. That might have been a bit too dramatic, but give me a bit of license on that one. So if we think about anatomically, do we have a master clock within the brain? And we do. And in fact, some of the work I did when I was based at the University of Virginia with Martin Ralph, who is now at the University of Toronto, and Michael Menaker, they really pushed the discovery of this master clock within the brain. It's deep in the hypothalamus. It's called the suprachiasmatic nuclei. It's a paired structure, about 50,000 cells. And the wonderful thing is that each one of those cells can generate its own 24-hour oscillation, and they're all coupled together to produce this master clock, which is regulated by light, which we can talk about in a moment. Mm-hmm. And we thought that the master clock, and this was back in the, I suppose, early 90s, was just essentially forcing rhythmicity on the rest of the body. It was changing, it was interacting with the pituitary gland, causing the rhythmic release of hormones, or, changing blood vasculature to give more blood to muscles during the day and less so at night. But then Uli Schubler, and I was at the meeting where he showed his data for the first time, showed that cells outside of this master clock, the SCN, could generate a circadian rhythm. And there was almost an audible gasp in the lecture theatre because, it changed our idea. It wasn't that the master clock was driving rhythmicity in the body, it was coordinating rhythmicity in billions and billions of individual cellular oscillators, which are grouped into the organ systems and the tissues of the body. So it's this incredible circadian network. So we tend to think about the circadian system rather than the biological clock, because there are billions in our body. And I just think that is just so cool. I think it's remarkable, actually.